My name is Aaron Buchwald, and I worked as the Chief Flight Software Engineer for Cislunar Explorers, a CubeSat mission into lunar orbit aboard Artemis 1 that was led by Professor Mason Peck, the former CTO of NASA. The goal of this mission was to test two novel technologies that were developed at Cornell University: water electrolysis propulsion and optical navigation. Now, when I go to bars, all my friends introduce me as their rocket science friend for 2 years because of this. And then I finally transitioned into Web3, where now I work as a blockchain engineer at Ava Labs. And now they introduce me as their crypto friend. And that's why I introduced myself a second time. My name is Aaron Buchwald. And the reason that I worked in space and the reason that I worked in Web3 is because what I love to do is work on cutting edge technologies. My worst fear for my career was that I would end up at a big tech company like Google, and that I would spend my entire life trying to make Google Drive just a little bit faster. Or even worse, that I would end up at Apple and spend 5 years making the iPhone smaller and smaller and smaller, and then have to spend the next 5 making it bigger again. And so to me, the challenge of working in space and the challenge of working in Web3 was what I wanted to do. And today, I see a lot of similarities in the way that we handled challenges in the race to space in the 1960s with what we're doing right now. And the reason for that is that there are a lot of unsolved challenges that the truth is we don't know how we're going to solve. And in the 1960s, a little while after President Kennedy declared that America was going to land on the moon within 10 years, a reporter asked him, he said, "Have we figured out all of the problems that we need to in order to go to space?" And Kennedy said this: "We haven't figured them out yet, but by the time we land on the moon, we will have figured them all out." And that right now is where the Web3 space is. There are a lot of challenges, and a lot of them we don't know how we're going to solve. But that's okay because we've been here before. And we're going to solve every single one of them. And we're going to solve every single one of them because when you have problems like this, when you have something aspirational like the race to space, or you have the promise of building Web3, what that does is it attracts the best engineers in the world. And so to be clear, not only are we taking on a difficult technical challenge, but we're aspiring to do something great, something truly interesting, something that could change the world. And to be clear, we're not talking about JPEG NFTs that your friends are going to screenshot and send to each other. We're not talking about making the 100th copycat of Uniswap. And we're not talking about a get-rich-quick scheme. There are other people talking about that, but that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is the vision of disintermediation and achieving that through blockchain and Web3. Right now, there's a guy named Leo. And Leo might be driving a truck for Amazon, sleeping in his truck, and fighting to make ends meet. Because there's a big corporate intermediary that he works for, and that the only way they're going to treat him is in the way to make as much money as possible. And what blockchain does, what disintermediation opens up the opportunity for, is that we could create a whole new version of Amazon that's decentralized. So we could have something where it could work where there's a storage network that's decentralized, a delivery network, and buyers and sellers that all connect via a decentralized platform instead of through one corporate intermediary. And so this is about changing that structure so that we can build Web3 for Leo. So that not only is Leo going to have the chance to make a better life for himself, but he's going to have the chance to take on Amazon and win. So that's the vision of what disintermediation can be and what Web3 can be. And that's the challenge that I love. So if you're like me and you can't stand the idea of a stagnant career, if you're looking for a hard challenge with an aspirational goal, then this is the time to be in Web3. Thank you.